And in the last part, part 4 of our tea time chat today, we discuss dreams and dream interpretation and dream symbolism, activations during the night time, sleep balancing, insomnia and energy. We discuss the symbology of the snake and the reptilian aspect of self, the playground within darkness and fear moving into unity, working multidimensionally with the now moment, the 0 point, and becoming truly one with the higher self and rising through the dimensions. We discuss humour within our spiritual path and the work of the way showers.
This feeling of this new life within me that was probably about 7 months old, so a good baby-sized feeling, and then, but I became pregnant in June. And that was lovely, that was summertime, and I don't know why, but summertime was lovely. The baby was born in December, and I have no idea what gender it was, it's just the baby is born in December. And I thought, oh, how interesting is that? That's really fascinating. Absolutely fine, 6 months pregnancy, perfectly formed baby, everything's lovely. And then the next night, I had a dream that I was pregnant again, even though I'm a miracle. You know, I'm this age now and I can have babies. But I didn't have a birth of that. I was still pregnant. I didn't have a birth of that baby. When I really went into it during my meditation time, I thought, okay, now the guidance for baby within dreams, when it's like a movie rather than morphing, the movie dream is telling you something, your consciousness is telling you something. So in this case, the baby is a new beginning in my life. Something is going to be birthed in my life, or the seeds of it are going to be birthed or conceived in June this year, and I know it's when I get a thumbs up, that's right, my body surges and I'm having that. And whatever this experience, energy, ability is, it's going to come to birth time and recognition in December.
It wasn't December 21st by any chance?
I wonder. I wonder. But December was it. And I'm so excited by that. I really am. Equally, there is going to be a new conception of something. But I didn't have any sort of timeline.
So you're right.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
resonating completely.
in actual fact, it was 3 dreams, but I lumped the 2 babies together in my analysis, of what they were. Now, the second dream was bizarre, well, like the art, but again it was a movie. I was moving through this town that was somewhere abroad. I didn't recognise it as anything English. But they had this enormous wooden tower just behind the buildings of this town that I was walking through, and it was amazing. This structure wasn't anything that I thought anybody could climb up necessarily, but it was all made of wood. And then all of a sudden there was a fire and it was burnt down, completely destroyed, like a bomb or a rocket had hit it and it completely collapsed. And I was there and I was like I was phoning home, probably like the Twin Towers type experience, and I was phoning home to my husband, the tower's just been destroyed, the tower. And then as I was talking to him, the tower rebuilt itself.
Oh! There is no tower.
And I thought, how does it do that? And I really was in there, in humanity, in this town that I was visiting, and I think, I'm alive, I am watching this, this is true. And then, of course, I woke up, and then I thought, right, okay, the tower is my life. So something, maybe very dramatic, is going to happen sometime. There was no timeline within it. That for a moment, and I think the time between the tower being destroyed and rebuilt is it will only be a moment where you will break down, or something difficult in my life, and I've had a few of those, will happen, but you will be rebuilt.
And the tower in tarot is a metaphor for that.
Okay.
And also remember that when you're in this higher density energy, your individual path mirrors the global reality.
Yes.
Within the fifth density.
Yes.
So the fifth dimensional earth, if you like, is mirroring, and its whole consciousness is mirroring the lives of those that exist within fifth density, as in third density earth is mirroring the individual realities of those in third density.
Yes.
So you're talking about birth, conception, creation, birth, and the new beginning, the new reality. So it's for you and a global.
Yes, I was picking that one.
Yeah,
Humanitarian part. It's especially the tower. It was almost like the tower's destroyed and then built straight back up again.
Yes.
With a new reality.
And this is what's happening to thousands and thousands and thousands, if not millions, of people having dreams similar to yours, different metaphors.
Yeah.
And there are those who know what this means because they're in this energy and they're connected and aware, or have done research. There are others who don't, who haven't found videos like this on YouTube, or people having these kinds of discussions. So they're waking up thinking, what's going on? Everything's breaking down. What's happening to me? This is a global phenomenon, and it's that's what we're here for, is to share that.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but if you sense the not only the transparency when we're in the physical between the other realms, but actually the sleep state is more transparent as well.
Yes.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
So that's in a way really what you're saying, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
And it's so much more easy to comprehend walking in the sleeping state or awake in the sleeping state.
Yes. And are you finding at the moment that you're not sleeping as much?
No, not sleeping. No, not sleeping as much.
No, waking up, and not last week, the week before, I had 2 consecutive nights of waking up and not being able to get back to sleep and communicating all night, and that was an experience for me because that happens to clients, and I'll think that perhaps they're not ungrounded when this happens, that they're not grounded, because you should be able to say to the guides, look, I'm asleep, leave me. And of course, that's not how it is. It doesn't mean you're ungrounded when this happens. A lot of the shifts are occurring in the night, because when you sleep everything changes. There's more melatonin, the pineal gland is activated in the early hours of the morning, so that's when a lot of this happens. Obviously you've got to place that physically, and sleep, it's important. On the other level, what I get from the 9 is those that are going through this sort of purge will have such a heightened energy that although they'll be tired, they're not going to be, it's not the same as somebody suffering from insomnia who's gone for nights without sleep. There is an energy replenishment going on when you have these cosmic experiences at night. Is that what you were going to say, before? You were going to talk about the dimension, we were talking about the dimensional shifts. Is that what you were going to say about the dream time?
I'm not quite sure what I was going to say earlier, but to be absolutely honest with you, but there's
do you mean conscious dreaming?
Well, are we all experiencing different types of dreams, not just the awaking? Because you seem to be, I don't know why, but I got a good feeling that you know a lot about the dream state. Have you read a lot about it?
It's because I'm a counsellor as well. I have worked with some of my clients that have come for healing, but also just to talk through, and often they'll say, I've had a dream, and I do now, from my own experience mainly, that when it's a movie, your subconscious is talking to you. It's using analogies, and you mentioned the car. The car is, and you say the words, driving. It's your driving force within you. Look at where you're sitting in this car. Were you in the front, driving? Your driving force? Were you in control? Were you a passenger, telling somebody else where to go, or were you at the back?
And what kind of transport are you in?
And what's the transport
like? It could be a train, a bus, it could be a spaceship.
So within the dream state,
it's dragged in the last
your consciousness can tell you all sorts of things.
Transport is great as well, and the levels to transport. Are you walking?
Yes.
Are you getting into a dimensional lift? Are you doing transportation through portals? Are you actually bilocating? Different levels
Yes.
of transport will give you clues about what's going on, and buildings as well.
Yes.
How many stories to the buildings? What do the buildings look like? Are they old and falling to pieces? Are they dark, spiders' webs everywhere? Or are they full of light and colour and flowers? So the imagery in dreams isn't always recognisable at first. It's when you come out of the dream and think, I kept seeing the colour yellow, or I kept seeing this particular symbol, and it didn't recognise it at the time, but you do afterwards. And then it's you know, the emotion and the symbolism is as important as the actual journey in the dream. Oh, the dream time is, according to the 9, you know, this is where the travellers have gone over millennia to connect with them. You know, the Native Americans.
Very aware of that this last few weeks. I mean, on and off I've always been, but particularly I'm actually hearing my voice as if I'm talking in the room when I'm waking up, and I'm obviously, and it's work. It's all work related, energy work that is going on, and that's what I mean about the transparency. It seems so much more. Which world am I in? You know, so much like oh yeah, okay, I'm coming back here now. Oh yes, I'm in this physical body, and it's literally becoming really obvious. So that's what I mean by that.
Just the differences is fading.
The other, the other thing. Sorry, I must say this because I tend to go off on one, but is
you don't.
I'm like, okay, well, no, not me. See, there it goes. Is that through the dream state, a lot of clearing is happening at the moment. So whereas quite often, perhaps we've been in the physical, we've gone to see a counsellor. You know, we're all kind of counsellors, aren't we, in one way, form or another. We don't need to. We're actually working it out with our that larger part of us, that aspect to us, and that's working through. So it's part of the speeding up process. This is what I've been told about the dream state at the moment. So,
and there's so many levels to that, as in, you know, being consciously aware that you're in a dream, the astral projection. With downloads, sometimes I'm literally lying in my bed and they're falling in, and I'm being spoken to, or other times I meet the 9 in the dream. But talking of dreams, I did have a really I don't know what word to call it, weird dream. I wasn't sure if I would share it either, because the symbology might scare some people, and obviously that's the last thing I want to do. I'm not about fear. It didn't scare me, it was absolutely beautiful, but perhaps I should share it in case there are others that will experience, and maybe one of you have. This was also not last week, the week before, it was the day before I went to Stonehenge, so I had the activations of the stones the day after and that blinding light. The day before, and I'm actually lying in my bed but dreaming, so I must have been in the astral body, but the astral body and the physical body were in the same place, in the bed. That sometimes happens. And there were snakes. They were wriggling right through my body, everywhere, from head to toe. They were just all over me, wriggling and wriggling and wriggling, all these different coloured snakes. And then one found its way into my brain. And it burrowed. I know this sounds really dreadful, and you know, switch off now if you're feeling scared. Don't listen. But it was actually great. This one snake burrowed its way through my brain, right? And I remember thinking, oh, there's one in my brain now. Open my eyes and just shoo, all of you. And all these snakes went. And then I opened my eyes and I thought, I'm not scared now. I would normally be in, going back 5 years, or even maybe less than that. Certainly 10 years, I'd have been in a state of terror for probably weeks. Snakes everywhere. But I wasn't. And I asked the 9, and I instantly was told major DNA activation, and the DNA connected with the brain, because the snake is the image for the Kundalini. And it wasn't just coming up the spine, it was throughout the whole body. And I knew that a new strand, or more than one strand, had just been completed, and that the synapse with the brain had matched it up. So if anyone has any snaky dreams, then, you know, don't be scared, because, I wouldn't like it in real life. I don't want any snakes crawling over me, no way. But in the imagery, fantastic.
It's also, the other part of that, another side to it, is that we are connecting with parts of us that we've separated from. And we...
you mean the reptilian
aspect? I had this conversation's going crazy.
Yeah.
But I
people are going to be switching off
they're
now.
gonna be
You cannot mention reptilians over here.
Okay. Well,
no, go ahead. It's fine.
Well,
it's got to come out.
You know, this stuff is quite profound. But if people aren't scared of it, then they'll allow it in, and it's part of us. So, okay, so I use the analogy. Probably in front of that camera, they can see the cup. Okay, and that cup basically represents the whole of the universe as we know it. Okay, and within that structure of that universe, I've gone off on one, haven't I? Yeah, I have literally. I tell you, I have. I'm up there now. So I will come grounded. Okay, there was a part of me that I hadn't accepted, which was, call it alien, reptilian, whatever you want to call it. Now, to me, I've not read about this stuff. I knew nothing about it. But all I do know, if something comes into my awareness and consciousness, it's there for a very good reason. And we can do the fight or flight, can't we?
Yes,
you could have run from the snake dream. Or being fearful of it, but a part of you knew that there was some acceptance and some learning, growth, experience, whatever you want to call it. So with regards to the this alien part of me, I knew that I had to allow it back, and as soon as I did, and just by acceptance, I've connected with that part of me. Remember, as I say, we're all of it. Upcut, we are all of it, and if we try and separate ourselves, then we're not whole, and we can't be in the fifth dimension, seventh dimension, or the other dimension. You can't get
into the fifth density without the wholeness.
So what I'm really trying to say is that all of us, at some point, are going to consciously, maybe unconsciously, maybe it's in dream state, as we've been discussing, are connecting with all these parts of us, and if we allow that process in the fact of acceptance, then we suddenly feel, and what happened for me was I felt a lightness, I felt an expansion, because obviously that I'm very much tuned to energy. Some people may not experience it that way, maybe it'd be a tingle, or maybe they won't consciously get anything then. As you say, things sometimes come to us a bit later, maybe a week or two, call it down, whatever you want to call it, but that happened for me, and since then I've had amazing changes, and I can communicate with those other aspects of me, if you want, which I couldn't before, because now that link's been made. So I know this is kind of a tea time chat, and it's a little bit out there, but hey,
it's the whole, it's the whole of everything, isn't it?
But it's, you know, that you can ask yourself the question: is there a multidimensional aspect of you, of me, that is a reptilian, a being? Well, of course
it is.
We're one with everything. How can there not be? But where do you want to go with that? Service to self or service to others? You know, is there a dark, evil reptilian being? Well, yeah, we're one with everything, but that's way away from our timeline. That's in a different evolution of us, if we're all that one Creator God. The reptilian aspect of me are, and they've been around for a long time, reptilian of light, reptilians of light. There are reptilian beings of light, of service to others. There are reptilian beings of observational, neutral feelings, quite scientific. There are beings of every kind, every shape, colour, everything. This whole big reptilian thing, yes, okay, there's a lot of truth to that, but a lot of it's metaphor. And it can be scary.
A lot of it is scare-mongering. What we're presenting here is that nothing has to be scary.
Exactly.
What is this fear thing?
Well, the minute you lock into fear, you are lost in that connection straight away. You know, if a reptilian being comes to you that does look a bit grotesque and horrible, so you know, it's like, okay, what are you doing here? If that being is trying to be you know, scary, there are so many ways around it, and you have to play with the dark. And I say play because the whole thing is training ground.
It's all an illusion.
Exactly.
Just shine the light on the place.
You can go wherever you want and embrace all, and it is a difficult lesson to learn. But if you are thinking, okay, I'm going to be spiritual and I'm going to ascend, but I'm only going to ascend with angels, guides, these lovely ETs, but I'm not going to let in the reptilians or this lot over here or that, how can that be unity? I know in a third density sense you can't do it, because that's where separatism is. So you have to make choices about what you vibrate with. But when we're speaking in a fifth density sense, it is a unity, it is a wholeness, and it's everything. There is no reptilian, there is no human, it is just oneness in that place.
Well, really, for those people that you know, are saying, well, I'm not in 3D right. I mean, I'm in 3D right now, and I'm not in this other place, and you know, that's okay. You were talking earlier about how you see the, you know, the timelines and get people to go out there and you know, maybe there's one choice here and there's another one there, and how do you present it? I think that's absolutely amazing what you do.
Yes.
Now I do a similar thing, but in the here and now as well. So these are multi-dimensional. Again, you look at these wondrous tools that we're all you know using, and the here and now is. Sort of saying how does it feel right now when I think about doing that thing, because as you say there is no time.
So you draw this into your body
out there. So it's kind of bring it in. How does it feel? Should I have tea? Should I have coffee right now? And you know, and I love that because right now, tea feels good, or you know, because there's that two. One feels good and one doesn't, or you know that. So that's really quite amazing. So
that's the key swapping between you and I as well, because I've been very much the nine are out here and around me. So the multidimensional aspects are out here and around me, and the future magentas are all out there and around me. Jess, it's all inside. It's all inside. So she's key swapped with me, and she's now personifying the all around her, which is where it is. And I'm coming in, and I know I am, because another cafe story. When you were telling your cafe story, I thought, I've got a cafe story. And then we must wrap up and break out these cakes.
Yes, they've gone stale now.
Do you know, the smell is driving me mad. I'm just thinking, cake,
so this cafe story, and I'm sat in the cafe with my son, who's 15, and he'd got some chips, and he wanted me to open the ketchup for him, because you know there's little terry packets of ketchup, he couldn't get it open. And I just felt the 9 just land in my body. Now normally they are up here and they're always accessible. They landed in.
Right.
And they were there, and I'm like looking around, and this is all preparation for the workshop we were doing, because it was very much about standing with that, as in the higher guidance and the physical body becoming one, the merge. This is what's happening. This is the ascension process. That is the 5th density. So, you know, had I flown into 5th density? Well, yes, but the perception of it was them landing into me. So I'm opening my eyes and thinking, so this is what it looks like to see through the physical eyes of a 3rd dimensional human being. And I'm thinking this in this cafe, and the other part of me is thinking, well, I know what it's like. I've been in this body for a long time.
They hadn't.
But we haven't. I said, well, you have, because you're me, not in this way. And I thought, and then I open up the ketchup and I'm squeezing it on my son's chips, and I'm thinking, because they're saying stay grounded, because it is a bizarre and weird and beautiful experience that could be scary if you aren't ready for it, and it won't come unless you're ready, and if it does, it will go. It's a training ground and it will come back. So I'm letting it, and I'm just getting you used to the wisdom and the profound knowing of Source actually being in my body at the same time as the linear projection that I am as a consciousness structure.
Did they have a chip?
No, they
a chip is a French fry.
French fries. Chips are actually crisps over in the US.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, did any of you know that?
Yeah, I did.
All right, just to clarify.
Chips are crisps, and so if
did they like salt and vinegar?
But it's French fries and ketchup that Christian was having. Otherwise, the Americans were thinking, why do they put ketchup on their crisps?
Because
it's chips. Yeah. Who gets a packet of chips and puts ketchup on it? So no, they're French fries.
It's all lost in translation, isn't it? We do speak a very different
the funniest
language.
thing, talking of young Megan, who is 13 and the most amazing young starseed girl, I'm just going to say that I was speaking to her just before Christmas, and I said to her, so what are you having for Christmas dinner? The Americans will love this. And she said, biscuits and gravy. Exactly. Well, that's what I thought. And I'm sitting thinking, they can't seriously be giving their American children biscuits and gravy for Christmas breakfast. So, and I'm thinking, well, it can't be what I'm thinking. So I'm saying, can you describe to me the biscuits and gravy? Because here in the UK, we wouldn't eat biscuits with gravy. And she said, oh no, it's my favourite breakfast, it's yum, you can buy them anywhere. And I'm like, so I'm typing in Google, biscuits and gravy US, and up comes this picture of these big puffy scones with all this sort of white creamy sauce that looks really sugary and sort of, you know, like a normal dessert.
Oh, right.
So I'm coming back showing, and that's why I Google her and send her a picture of our biscuits and our gravy. It's nothing like that. So lost in translation on something. So great fun.
Did they want to taste chips?
No, they left after
Did they?
a while.
Right.
Well, they didn't leave, they just moved out.
Okay.
And they're coming in and out all the time, that's the merge.
Wow.
If it stayed with me all the time, it would be too much for me at this point to assimilate that. So they do sit in. But Jess, you've kind of done it the other way. You've had that with you inside you, haven't you? Would you say?
I haven't got a clue.
No, right then. See, this is another thing. She doesn't necessarily analyse, and I'm always going. She doesn't need to, because it doesn't matter.
It's just
because her mission isn't about analysis. Mine is. Why? I don't know. These are the missions we've chosen. I am to analyse, because I am to explain, and I am to shift back through the densities to explain the fifth density to the third density individuals, and I feel you're there. But Jess is doing a different. Her mission's the same, but it's slightly different.
Different paths. So basically for those people with the snakes and the aliens and all that stuff,
the reptilians
and the 9 coming through, we're just shifting dimensions basically, aren't we? And shifting with all of whatever's happening to all of us.
Either that or we're all going crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Actually,
we're just
going
crazy people.
Aren't we in a great place?
That's right.
We live in this wonderful area.
If this is crazy, I don't want to be saying.
Are we allowed to mention another author to help anybody watching this?
I think we're allowed to mention whatever we want. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody that's heard about reptilians for the first time is pretty scary. I've been one of those with an English author and TV personality who's been going through these experiences and written about it. I didn't want anything to do with it. And then I heard about and met, she came to Bournemouth, Dolores Cannon.
Oh, this is where we met.
That's where we met.
Dee and I met each other at the Dolores Cannon workshop.
I was with me.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah. I was there.
Oh, I was there.
Okay. Oh, I was there.
I was sat in front of you both.
Well, there we go.
I was sat in front of you both. I was in the next row with my brother and sister.
Oh, so isn't this exciting?
Isn't it small?
Anyway, I would recommend that anybody that's fearful about the reptilian side of things reads Dolores Cannon's Convoluted Universe books. Yeah. They are so comforting because the information is coming through all her clients and reassuring, and it seems that the reptilian types that have come to observe or experience actually know that they are very uncomfortable to look at from the human perspective.
Some of them are.
They say that about us.
Some of them,
Yes,
I will say, I would have thought the majority of the viewers for my channel will have heard of Dolores Cannon.
Okay.
And if they haven't, then absolutely, I agree with you. Look up her work. There are so many people we could mention on here. I mean, I could give a string of way showers that are doing the most amazing work.
It's embracing, isn't it?
It's
embracing it all without fear. I think is our.
In fact, we can have a chat one day about all the people out there that are doing this work and bring forward what we know about them. And it's all about networking and finding the work of these individuals. And you know, you've got people working on the cosmic level, the channeling. You've got people working with physics, people working with biology, the hypnosis. I mean, it's just like endless, I said, the mathematical precision of how it's being planned out is just, well, genius isn't even the word. It's as it is. It's absolutely as it is. And I know that's tough to see from 3D because it's chaos there. But when you rise through the dimensional states and you look with the higher dimensional eye, it is absolutely perfect and so on track.
Because I think with mathematics, actually, is the cosmic language.
Geometry.
And geometry.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's who the 9 are. That's who I speak to. That's who you are with, all of us. Ultimately, if we were to give them the sort of highest metaphor, if you like, that they are pure maths, pure mathematics, pure geometry. That's who we're communicating with, and that's who we're letting into our bodies, and that's the merge. We're merging with that geometry, with that mathematics.
We are that geometry.
It was quite funny when you were saying, "Oh, you're connecting with that," and I'm looking for them.
Well,
where are you?
Where are you? So, thank you, Anne and Dee, for joining Jess and I today.
It's been absolutely wonderful.
It's been a really long chat.
Levels.
I hope people have stuck with it.
Yes.
Not got too bored. And we will be doing many more of these tea time chats, and so
lovely.
And it's
anytime
been
you'd
lovely
like
to join you.
And so thank you
time.
for sharing
Yeah.
your story with us.
Thank you.
Your stories with us.
All meant to be, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The timing and everything, as
Yeah.
always. And great. Thank you very much.
Thank
I've enjoyed
you.
it.
Thank you.